Hi, I'm Veronica Roth, author of Divergent. Allegiant, the final installment in the series, will be published worldwide on October 22nd. I hope you're as excited as I am. Triss's choices have always driven the series and the story and the way that it has gone. Especially in Insurgent, I would say that her choice to go to Erudite headquarters was one of the most pivotal decisions, and that really propelled a lot of the themes going forward in Allegiant, about learning about self-sacrifice when it's necessary, when it's a good thing, when it's not a good thing, and her grappling with that was really the driving force behind her maturity. One of the most surprising things was Marcus's refusal to die in Insurgent. I had a plan from the very beginning for how he would go and when I sat down to write it, it just wasn't working. He just wouldn't go. Which turned out to be a good thing because I kind of needed him for the third book. I think Caleb is the character who has surprised me the most, because at the end of the first book, I knew there was something weird about his kind of defecting from Erudite, but I didn't really know what it was until I wrote the second book. And when I realized what he would do and what he would become, he became way more nuanced, I think, as a character, not just some kind of misunderstood smart person who was doing what Triss did and going with his heart or whatever. He becomes someone who maybe is smart but easily deceived and persuaded, with a kind of moral flexibility that Triss does not have. She's very black and white. So he was a huge surprise, and I think a really good one. I mean, I don't agree with what he does, but I think he's incredibly interesting and I've really enjoyed writing about him. Fortunately, I was almost done with Allegiant by the time any of the casting or any of the shooting started, so I only had to do a little bit of editing while they were still shooting. The movie stuff didn't influence it at all. I just tried to create a space for myself in which I wasn't thinking about how people would react or what was going on with the books outside of my computer. And that's really the only way that I can write, so it's good that I found that place. I was able to visit the set about once a week, actually, which was incredibly cool. My favorite scenes to be there for were when they were shooting in the Loop, the downtown area of Chicago, because I had been there before, just as a normal pedestrian, and then to sit on a movie set with the street kind of covered in gravel and all of these people in costumes that looked like they walked right out of my mind. It was really incredibly amazing. One of my favorite scenes to watch was the Ferris wheel scene, because Shailene Woodley and Theo James were actually climbing the actual Ferris wheel that I had actually imagined while I was writing. So it was probably the most direct translation from my mind to the screen. And they were so brave. Actually, they reflected the characters a little bit, because Shailene as Triss was incredibly bold and wanted to climb higher, and Theo as Four was like a little more hesitant, in real life. I'm looking forward to taking some time to write for fun and also to watch all of this movie stuff unfold, and we'll see what happens with that.